Greetings, Mind Crafters, and welcome to another Mindcraft discussion here on this glorious now spring day. It's so wild that, I don't know, that it's happening. It's like winter's finally deciding to release her grip. I just think winter is so badass. She definitely dominates the other seasons. It's like, I'll let you know. And then sometimes what's funny is winter will kind of do like a fake out. Like she'll say, okay, and then little daffodils pop up, and then a couple days later you see their sad little heads under like a new fallen couple inches of snow because winter's just not quite ready yet to give it up. And then when she finally kind of raises her what do you call those things that queens have, staff, I guess, raise her staff and say, okay, tap, spring may happen. And it happens. It's just wild. Anyway, my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I just got caught up in that because it's so amazing. And you can see behind me that, you know, that the beaver pond is just barely starting to melt. There's little Giovanni. He's also your host with the most. And so here we go. What really was sort of coming to me, because that's what happens with these videos. I rarely plan them unless I'm doing like a formal thing in the studio. I definitely don't. Out in the woods, it's just the inspiration, which means in spirit, right? It just kind of, you know, comes to me. And so today what's coming to me is, you know, we've been talking a lot about knowing your own value. And the reality is nothing is going to happen as far as alignment, your own alignment, if you don't know your own value. It doesn't mean you have to have totally arrived. You know, I don't know if any of us ever totally arrive, if you think about it, right? But to really be on the track to knowing your own value, knowing who you are. I was just listening to Oprah say that yesterday. Maybe that's in my head, but she and I are definitely on the same track with the whole thing. And so another thing is, it's important for self-care. We've talked about that because you cannot take care of a self you don't value. That's just plain and simply the truth. And I also wanted to talk about dropping the unlovable wall, or breaking it down, take it down, something. The unlovable wall has got to go. Because here's the thing, you know, we can have plenty of people in our lives showing us so much love, just love all over the place. And also God, source, the universe, however you want to name that, showing us all kinds of love. But here's the thing. It's not going to get in if we got Fort Knox wrapped around us, saying, you know, with all those messages of not knowing our own value and even self-hatred, which is, you know, totally self-abandonment. All these things. It's you know, just like this iron wall. I think of I don't know, a castle or something, where you're just not getting in, a moat and a big tall wall. And it's all guarded. And so, again, all the love in the world isn't going to get through there until you break down the wall and then hopefully invite it. That's where we actually want to be, is inviting the good in. And so it's really important to acknowledge, first of all, if you have a wall, whether it's made out of burlap all the way to granite or iron, you know, most things in life are spectrum, right? It's got to come down. It's just got to come down because, and we talked about that in a different way with a birthday present or just a no reason present. And some, you know, your best friend comes to your door. It's like, oh my God, I was traveling. I was in Morocco and I saw this beautiful something knickknack that you said you're into these. And I thought you would just love it. And it was handmade. And I even talked to the gentleman for a while and it was just this heartfelt, you know, thing. And then you're like, okay, I'll check it out later. And you put it on the coffee table. I mean, that's what we're talking about. If you don't open the gift, then who's going to want to give you another one for sure? And also all that goodness isn't getting in. So it's kind of like that old, I don't know if it's not a saying, I don't know what it is, little made up story. Like if a tree falls in the forest, you know, but it doesn't make a sound, you know, doesn't make a sound, did it happen? The answer is no, because without translating that vibration into something of meaning, no, it didn't happen. And so same thing with letting the love in. And Abraham Hicks talks about a lot about this too. Letting the love in. If the love doesn't get to you, you have no idea it happened. It's like the tree falling in the forest thing. Which is, yeah, he likes the scratchy of the, Giovanni likes the scratchy of the hard snow now. So that's the whole thing. Got to drop the unlovable wall and let it in. And some ways to practice that are, you're probably like, oh, that's huge. I've been dealing with this my whole life. Great tip. How do I do that? Well, you can start small and start with the littlest of things, compliments, even if it's a compliment from a rando, the smallest of compliments. Instead of, immediately, letting it bounce off the wall, kind of like, I'm thinking of like water on a Gore-Tex jacket or something, it just rolls off. No, you've got to really, and it might also involve a little bit of becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable for a bit. Because if this has been your drill for most of your life, and let's say you're my age, I'm a fabulous 58, then it's not going to happen overnight. You got to kind of be patient with that, because it's these patterns and all the repetition, all the reinforcing has made the wall strong and tall, right? And so you've got to just sort of understand it's going to take a little bit, and then develop your own, self-love army to really start talking back to a lot of this stuff. And one small way, I'm going to give you a couple small ways. One small way is to allow the compliments in. They might be the smallest of compliments, and you can feel that ripple of sort of stirring up the unworthiness feeling you got going on, when it kind of counteracting, I guess, what you feel inside in your hard drive, and just be like, okay, breathe. So-and-so really liked what I said today in the meeting. So-and-so really liked the new outfit I just bought. So-and-so really liked how I handled that difficult person, that conversational exchange we had. And just in your mind, and just breathe and just acknowledge the uncomfortability of it, because somebody's saying something good that's counteracting your own messages. And just, that's a start. This is one start. It was uncomfortable. But the thing is, if your mind is going to get used to feeling good and wanting to attract more of feeling good, it's got to know what it's looking for, which it can't do if it doesn't have a reference point. You got to start, really allowing the good in. The other thing you can do, and it might feel forced at first, and that's okay, fake it till you make it's a thing, it works, is something as small as, let's say you're at a restaurant and they come around with, I'm just thinking of wine right now, it could be anything. And like the house wine is cheap, it's like $7. And then they say, oh, whoa, we happen to have this special wine. It's a French Bordeaux, and it's on special for $7.50. Okay. Or let's say 50 cents more. Let's say $8.50, so it's more realistic. So it's $1.50 more. I'm not saying be reckless, and it's not about the alcohol. It's about the treating yourself. So that might be like, oh, I can just have the house wine. I don't need that. I don't need, it's an extra $1.50. Who cares? And I'm not saying reckless spending. I'm saying that's not even the point at all. The point is that to force yourself to splurge on that extra $1.50 to get the special wine, just because you're treating yourself, even if it's uncomfortable. So similar to the compliment thing, you might get a wave of, it stirs up all those, unworthiness feelings that are really locked into your hard drive, and you just have to kind of just breathe. There you go. Breathe. Okay, this isn't comfortable, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm doing something good for myself. I'm taking a step in the right direction towards knowing my own value. I am on my way. I am on my way. I am on my way. Okay, that's another one. Or it can be, the wine thing came to my head because I was fortunate enough to be away with my kids this weekend. Let's say it's a dessert special, or it's you find a pair of jeans on sale when you're looking for something else. You offer to buy your nephew's birthday present, and it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't bought new jeans for myself in 4 years. Well, now's the time. Okay, I'm not talking about reckless anything or expense. I'm talking about they're on sale. And, whatever, or a dessert or something, simple pleasures, whatever. Or it's time. Give yourself that time to yourself for a hot bath at night, or to read a book and skip doing the dishes for tonight. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as the point is that you are valuing yourself. You're treating yourself to something that feels frivolous to you, even if it's not that frivolous, because this is where your starting point is, and that is okay. Because that is how we start to take down the wall of unlovability brick by brick. Take it down brick by brick by doing those things. We've got to let the good in. We've got to treat ourselves in small ways, enjoy simple pleasures, and do things. If we, in order to get the brain, neurologically speaking, neurons that wire together fire together. In order to give them some kind of reference point for what we want to attract more of in our lives, if that's making sense. The brain loves patterns, and it's going to keep seeking out what it's used to. So until you change that, allow the good in, it's going to keep seeking out all the old bad toxic messages. So take that wall of unlovability down brick by brick. And right behind those bricks coming down are the bricks going back up with the good stuff, because you want to focus on what makes you feel good. Awesome. This is Kimberly Quinn and little Giovanni back there signing off from the Notch in northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.